Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Gretchen, physical therapist and MS specialist at The Missing Link. Every month in The Missing Link, I host a live MS specific exercise class where I teach exercises to strengthen and stretch the muscles that we need in order to improve our day to day activities like walking, stair climbing, getting into and out of your bed, into and out of your car, you name it. And every now and then, I like to put one of those classes on YouTube for you guys to enjoy. I hope you like today's class. And if you are interested in joining us for these classes live, check the comment section below where I'll give you some links on exactly how to do that. Welcome, everyone. We are going to be focusing on an exercise class today, specifically for fatigue. And I've done other classes for fatigue before. This one is going to be a bit different because we're focusing on isometric exercises, resistance training, and stretching. So these are three different types of exercises that we can do on fatigue days that have been proven to help improve our energy and reduce fatigue. So if you have a resistance band near you or around, go ahead and grab that. I'll give you a second to do that. If not, that's fine. You definitely don't need any equipment for this class if you don't have it or don't have the time to go grab it right now. But if you do have a resistance band, just something light, it doesn't need to be heavy. Usually yellow or red are the lighter ones. So one of those colors would be fine. And then isometric exercises, we don't need anything. And then stretching, we're not going to use anything either. So take a second now to grab that stretching resistance band or tubing or loop, whatever you've got, if you decide to use it. And then we'll get started. So as you can see, I have it was a resistance band that I tied into a loop. It doesn't need to be tied into a loop. It can just be a long band. Whatever you've got, we're not going to be too picky today. So before we do that, we're going to start with our cardio, which I always like to do because starting with cardio primes our brain for neuroplasticity. So you are even more likely to strengthen and find those neural pathways. So we're just going to do 2 cardio exercises and then dive right into our routine today. So go ahead and sit up tall, bring your belly muscles in, just kind of shake out at first. And then when you're ready, we're going to start with one of my favorites, which is the arm swing. So fix back into a tall posture and start swinging those arms. Swing, swing, swing. And the goal here is to get your heart rate up. So that means that maybe you go a little bit faster than what feels normal to you, or more motion, or power. Pretend there's a punching bag right up here and you're trying to punch it up. Any of those are good options to increase your heart rate. Another option, which I don't mention as often, is talking while you're moving, which I have to do because I'm chatting with you guys. But you could say what's on your grocery list. You could say what your plan is for the evening or for the day. You could just sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Talking at the same time as moving makes your heart work so much faster. So keep moving. We're going to do 5 faster seconds, as fast as you can go, in 3, 2, 1, and go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slow it down, then stop and shake everything out. The last cardio one we're going to do is our forward punches. So when you're ready, don't take too much of a break. Go ahead and join me when you can. And you're punching forward at shoulder height. If that bothers you at all, of course, you can punch down towards your knees instead. Whatever feels good to you. And same principles for increasing your heart rate, especially since we're just doing 2 cardio exercises today. We want that heart rate to get up. So maybe you're going faster than what feels normal, or more motion. Remember, today we're focusing on fatigue. So maybe you're moving really slow and that's what feels good for you today. That works. That's totally fine. Or if you're having a day where you can go faster, or adding that power in. Again, see what feels good for you today. So often when we're fatigued, we think we just shouldn't move at all. But in reality, there's a lot of research that shows that light to moderate exercise can actually reduce fatigue. So do what feels best for your body today. We're going to do 5 faster seconds in 3, 2, 1. Go fast for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slow it down, then stop and shake everything out. Okay, so we're going to move into 4 strengthening exercises followed by 3 stretches. We're just going to do 1 round of all of these. If you like any of them, feel free to do a second round later on, or pick one of them and do it tomorrow or the next day. These don't always have to be combined together, especially on your fatigue days. So we're going to start off with our strap, if you have one. I'll show you how to do it without a strap if you're not using a strap. If you have just a nice long band, let me take this out so you can see that demonstration. So if it's not in a loop and you just have a band, all you're going to do is loop it around your thighs. So you're going to grab your band, loop it under one leg and then under the other. And you're going to have your feet come fully close together, fully touching, and your knees touching as well. And then your band comes together. Then you are going to hold as low as you can. The lower you hold, the harder it will be. So after you do a few repetitions, if it's too challenging, let go and hold up higher. So this is what it will look like if you're using a band. If you do have something with a loop, like it was already in a loop, just put your feet through the loop so it's around your lower thighs. And if you don't have a band, it's going to be the same exercise. You're just not going to use a band. So once you're in whatever position fits you, sit up nice and tall. Feet are touching and knees are touching. And then what we're going to do is push our knees out and squeeze our glute muscles, our butt muscles, and then relax and close those knees. One way to reduce fatigue is to use resistance, which might sound weird. It might sound counterintuitive, but by using resistance, you're actually encouraging the proper muscles to work instead of muscles that are overcompensating. So if you haven't already, go ahead and join me. We're going to do 10 of these. You're just slowly going out, squeeze those glutes, relax, and close. It should feel like a light exercise. You may or may not be feeling it in your glutes, but making sure you have good posture, your core is tight, and you're using your legs. If you're looking at my feet, you'll likely notice that they're not coming apart. I'm not letting my ankles roll. So only come as wide as you can without your feet moving. This in particular exercise is such a good exercise for hip strengthening. It can help with walking. It can help with taking steps to this side, stair climbing, feeling more balanced, reducing fatigue. It can help with so many things. And close 4 more. Keeping your good posture. Squeeze a little bit of a pause, nothing too much, and close and open. Squeeze those glutes, relax, open, squeeze, relax. Let's do 1 more. Open, squeeze, and relax. And you can let that band go if you are using it. We'll use it next, so just don't put it too far away from you. Next, we're moving on to an isometric exercise. This has been proven to be another form of exercise that can help reduce fatigue. And again, the reason that it works is similar to resistance in that it prioritizes the appropriate muscle that should be firing. So what we're going to do is we're going to put both of our hands on one leg, and your leg is going to do a marching movement. So the goal is that your leg will lift up off the ground, but your hands are not going to let it lift. So if we were together in person and I'm looking at you, if you're doing this exercise, I shouldn't actually see any movement. Your leg attempts to lift, but your hands are pushing down and it doesn't let the leg lift. This is what an isometric exercise is, meaning you're using your hip flexors, but the hip flexors aren't changing length. They're not moving. So we'll start on one side for 10, and then we'll come over to the other side. So when you're ready, place your hands on your thigh wherever it lands based on how long your arms are. Still make sure you're in a good posture and push down as your leg comes up. So lift and lower. Lift. You might even feel your triceps working. Lower. Lift. Lower. If you've joined my classes in the past, you know that marching is one that I prioritize. It's such an important exercise. So this is that same exercise, just using more of an isometric approach. Lift. This is 6. Down. Lift. Down. Lift. Down. Lift. Down. One more. Lift. And down. Switch over to the other side. Shimmy around if you need to, if you got uncomfortable for any reason. But both hands come to this side. And when you're ready, go ahead and lift that leg, but your arms push down. Lift and down. And the cool thing about isometric exercises is that there's no movement anyways. So even if you do have one side of your body that's not lifting anyways, even if you weren't adding resistance, that's okay. You still can push down and still attempt to lift your thigh. Lower. Lift. It doesn't matter what type of strength you have or don't have. This is always an exercise that you can do to help activate those neural pathways and the right muscles. This is 6. And down. Lift. Down. Lift. Down. 2 more. Lift. Down. Last one. Lift. And down. Shake everything out. We're going to grab our band and go back to but we're going to do an upper body exercise to give our legs a break. We just worked our glutes and we worked our hip flexors. So now we're coming up to our arms. If you don't have a band, what you're going to do is sit tall in the middle of your chair, and we're just going to do bicep curls. So normally you might think of someone who's holding onto a weight and doing a bicep curl like this or with both sides. We're just going to do one side. If you're not using a resistance band, what you're going to do is you're going to lightly close your hand. You're not squeezing. Lightly close your hand, and you're just going to slowly come up to this bicep curl. Bend your elbow as much as you can. Then when you're at the top, squeeze even further, like you're trying to pop your bicep. Like your bicep is a balloon that you want to pop. Then squeeze, 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 and then lower. It should feel pretty intense. And then you'll just bend and squeeze and lower. Adding that squeeze makes this so much more challenging of an exercise. So if you're having a fatigue day and that just feels too much for you, just don't add this squeeze. It's still a great exercise to activate your core and your upper body. If you're using a band, whether it's a band like this or if it's in a loop, you're going to hold on to one side with your palm facing me. That's going to go on your lap. And then the other side, your palms facing your own face. And that's how you're going to hold on to this strap. And then it's just a regular bicep curl. So you're just going to lift up and down, but you should feel the resistance. If the resistance is too heavy, hold on a little bit further away. If it's too easy, hold on a little bit closer. All right, we're going to do 10 on one side, then switch. Sitting up tall, core is engaged. Bring your belly muscles in. Go ahead and bend and lower. And remember, you're adding that squeeze at the top, especially if you're not using a resistance band. But even if you are using a resistance band, you can add that in. Lower. Slow and controlled. Up. This is 3. And down. If for any reason this bothers your shoulder, your elbow, your hand, anything, you don't have to do as much movement as we're doing. If you want to only come up halfway, I'll show you on this next repetition. Maybe you just do this. And then you lower. That works too. Again, this is always about listening to your body and what feels good to you, whether you're having a fatigue day or not. But if you are fatigued, especially on those days, we never want to push ourselves beyond what our body can handle. And down. 4 more. Up and down. Up and down. Keep your core muscles tight. If you let them go, tighten them again. And down. And up. Last one on this side. And down. Okay, so if you're using the resistance band, you're just going to switch your hands. So one hand goes down on your palm, the other hand faces you. You might have to switch how you're holding on to it. Doesn't really matter as long as it feels comfortable for you. And when you're ready, straighten the arm that we're going to be bending. Fix your posture, belly button comes in, and go ahead and bend. So lift that arm, squeeze at the top if you can, and down. Slowly, and up, and down. Slow and controlled. Nice job. Up, and down. Keeping your posture nice and tall. You're trying to be the tallest version of you. And down. Up. And down. Also, one thing that we could do, if you're looking for more of a challenge, is bring your feet closer together. The closer your feet are, the more challenging it is typically to balance. With that said, if you're looking for an easier version, open your feet up wider. The wider your feet are, the easier it is to feel more stable and balanced. So listen to what you need today and find what feels good for you. And down. 3 more. All the way up. And down. I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling it in this arm too, because we just worked it and now I'm using those muscles to hold it down. Good. 1 more. All the way up. And down. Okay. We're done with the band, so you can move the band away from you. Shake those arms out. We're going to go back to our legs. Shake the body out if you need to. And now we're going to work our knees. So we did our hips on the outside and the front. And now we're going to do the back of our knees. So what that's going to look like is we're going to bend our knee, but we're not going to let it move. So we're going back to our isometric exercise. So the way that this works is you're going to pick either leg. I'm going to start with this leg. And you're going to attempt to bend your knee, but at the same time that you're pushing your foot down into the floor. So it'll look like this, which looks like almost nothing. If I show you from this side, you'll see this is what it looks like if I'm doing a normal knee bend. But when I'm trying to resist it, I'm pushing down into the floor and then pulling back. And you'll see the slightest bit of movement if you watch my knee or my foot, the slightest bit, but that's it. Because we're doing it isometrically. We're trying to activate our hamstrings without actually making them move, shorten and lengthen. So pick either leg and you're going to go ahead and bend, try to bend without it moving and relax. We're going to do this 10 times. Bend and you pull, pull, pull. Relax. It should almost feel like you're pulling it through quicksand, through mud, through something heavy. If that's too challenging for you to do or you're just not understanding it, you can always push against something. So you can push against the, what is the leg of the chair. Push, 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 and relax. Push, relax. And you should be feeling this somewhere in the back of your thigh or behind your knee. Relax. Push. Relax. Push. This is 6. Relax. Push. Relax. Push. Relax. Push. Relax. 1 more. Push, 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 and relax. If you need to shake that out a little bit, we are going to do a hamstring stretch, but you can shake it out, do what you got to do to get it to relax. And then we're going to move over to the other side. I'm going to switch and face you again. So again, your options are to just pull through quicksand as you're pushing down, or you can line it up with your chair and push into something if that's easier for you. Either way, it's not an easy exercise. You should feel those muscles tightening. All right, 10-10s on the other side. When you're ready, pull, 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 and relax slowly. And pull back, and relax. And pull, relax. Pull, relax. Sometimes when I'm exercising, I like to just look down and just look blankly into space because it allows me to focus on the specific muscle that I'm trying to use. And relax. Pull, we got 5 more, we're halfway. Relax. Pull. Relax. Pull. Relax. Pull. Relax, and one more. Pull and relax. Again, shake that leg out. So I don't know about you guys, but for me, my hamstrings tend to cramp pretty easily. So you can just relax that leg, shake it out if you need. We're going to move directly into our hamstring stretch. So you can do either leg. I'm going to go back to the leg that I did first. And what you're going to do is straighten that knee as much as you can. If you're sitting too far back in your chair, you won't be able to straighten it that far. So you might have to scoot forward so you can fully straighten your knee. Once it's fully straight, doesn't matter what your ankle is doing, sit up tall and hinge forward. And you should feel this stretch somewhere on the back of your thigh, anywhere from your sitting bone all the way down to the behind your knee. If your calf muscles are tighter than your hamstring muscles, you might actually feel this more in your calf. That's okay too. As long as you're getting a stretch on the back side, that's what we're aiming for. But keep your back flat. I don't want anyone rounding down. And hold here. So the reason we're including stretches during our fatigue class is because oftentimes when we're fatigued, our muscles get tight. And when our muscles are tight, the rest of our body doesn't move well. When the rest of our body is not moving well, it makes us even more fatigued. So if we can release some of the tension, some of the tight muscles, oftentimes it improves our energy and reduces fatigue. When you're ready, come back up tall. Try your best to not use your hands as you bring your leg in. Straighten the other leg. I'm going to face you. Straighten the other leg, knees as straight as you can get it. Once you're there, hands are on your opposite thigh. Fix your posture again, sit up tall, and hinge forward. And similarly, you should feel this anywhere on the back of your leg, ideally anywhere from your sitting bone down to behind your knee. If your calf muscles or even the shin muscles on the front of your lower leg are tighter, you might feel it there. That's okay. We're not really judging where you're feeling the stretch today. We're just trusting that wherever you're feeling the stretch is the muscle that's tightest, and therefore it needs the stretch. While you're at it, while we're doing this stretch, if you can, I want you to think about releasing your pelvic floor. So often we hold this tightness in our pelvic floor, and while that can be helpful for some things, it also can cause more fatigue. So just think about relaxing your pelvic floor. And come back up when you're ready. Crawl your way back up. Try your best not to use your hands as you bring your leg in. This next one actually isn't a stretch, but it's a way to release our muscles in a different way. So we're going to come to one leg. I'm going to scoot back just a little bit. And we're just going to massage our quad muscles. When our quad muscles are tight, it can make our knee lock or buckle. And so we want to release that tension. And we can do that through stretches or massage. So today, I thought we would do it through a massage. So what that looks like is you can use one hand like I'm doing right now, just using the heel of my hand to start at the top and go to the bottom. You can go back and forth, and you're just rolling anywhere about the top half of your thigh. You can use both hands if that feels better for you. If you do have something at home like a rolling pin or a stick, you can use your knuckles. You could use a tennis ball. There's lots of different things that you can use. But I just wanted to share with you that massaging can release tension too. It doesn't always have to be stretching. We're just going to do this a little bit longer. While we're doing this, try to make sure your thigh is relaxed. It's just dead weight. If it's falling out a little bit, that's okay. It should be relaxed. The more your leg is tense as you're trying to release it, what you're trying to release isn't going to help. So that leg should be dead weight. I kind of switched to using my thumbs. Again, you can do whatever feels good to you. In case you do prefer this stretch, everyone's body is different. Some people's bodies loosen way better with this type of massage and release. Other people's bodies loosen better with actual stretching. Some it's a combination. My favorite quad stretch is the one where we look like this. So if you've joined my classes in the past, you've probably done this before. But the goal here is to straighten your knee and tuck your hip under. And you'll feel that in your hip flexor, but if you have tight quads, you might also feel that in your quads. So if you prefer a stretch, that's what you could do. Let's move over to the other side. First, make sure that it's dead weight. Try to relax it completely, and then go ahead and massage it out. There's no right or wrong to massage. It's whatever feels good for you. I can tell this leg for me is a little bit tighter. It's a little bit more sore as I'm pressing into it. If you have hand weakness that is potentially making this challenging, that's when using something like a rolling pin or this stick. I have something called the muscle roller stick. You could use that, a tennis ball. There's other things that you can hold on to that might make it easier for you so you're not using your hand strength to massage out your quads. We've got one more stretch after this. Be trigger point release, whatever feels good to you. If as you're massaging, you do find an area where you're like, oh my gosh, that's really sore, what you could do is put your thumbs there, press and hold, and wait for it to release. Make sure your leg is dead weight, and that's a way to release a specific area versus the whole area. All right, when you're ready, you can stop there, shake out your hands, shake out your body. And the last stretch that we're going to do to release tension and hopefully reduce fatigue is our inner thigh stretch. Our inner thighs can get really tight, especially when we're fatigued. And when our inner thighs are tight, it tends to pull our legs in. And when we're walking, that means that we might walk with more of a scissor gait, a more narrow gait. And that can make us more off balance, which leads to more fatigue and a risk of falling. So sit at the edge of your chair, open up your feet and your knees as wide as you can. It might be uneven. You might be able to open up one side wide and the other not at all. So this might look different for each of us, but as wide as you can with your knees in line with your toes. I don't want anyone's knees caving in like this. If that's happening and you can't open your knees further, then bring your feet in. So you should be in this good alignment. Okay, once you're there, sit up tall. Once you're there, hinge forward. And you're gonna push your inner thighs open. One thing that I like to do is add a twist. So I'm gonna twist towards my left side. And as I'm looking towards my left, my right hand is pushing out so that I'm feeling an even more of a stretch on the inner right thigh. I'm just gonna hold here, keep breathing. And when you're ready, come back to the center, come all the way back up. We're just gonna shake out our wrist for a second here. And then we're gonna go back, but turn into the other way if you did turn the first time. So sit back up tall, hinge forward, ideally feel some type of stretch. It's okay if you don't feel a big stretch, you might not. It's still getting a stretch to that area. When you're ready, twist in the opposite direction and push the other knee open. All right, and when you're ready, come back to the center, come all the way up, shake those hands out. You can bring your legs in. Again, there were 3 different types of exercises we did today to lower our fatigue. We did our isometric exercises where we activate the muscles, but they're not moving. We did our resistance exercises with a band or with an extra squeeze. And then we did our stretching. So these are 3 different ways. You don't have to do all of them all at once. If you loved one of them, you can just do the one type. But I wanted to give you an example of all the different types. So great job. Remember, you can do just one or a few of these throughout the day. It doesn't always have to be done as a full class, but great job. And I hope you found this helpful.
Congratulations. I'm so proud of you for finishing class today. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you felt the right muscles working. If you're curious what other MS specific exercises you could be doing to help you reach your goals, consider checking out my online MS wellness program, The Missing Link. In this program, I share all of my favorite MS specific exercises in the form of demonstration and explanation, but also with exercise calendars that tell you exactly what exercises to do each day to help you reach your goals and reduce your symptoms. Plus, you'll also be able to join me live for classes just like this one every single month, as well as more classes with other expert teachers. And we bring in MS experts like neurologists and nutritionists into the missing link so you can ask them your questions. And of course, we have accountability as well. Check out the links in the description section so you can learn more about the missing link to see if it would be a good fit for you or not. And if you're only interested in the live exercise classes, check out the description section. I will put a link there where you can join any of our live group Zoom exercise classes. Thanks again for joining class today. Have a great day.